You ready? Oh, yeah, I'm ready. All right, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your absolutely favorite podcast. Woo, woo, woo. Riffin with Griffin. And we back in 2020. Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. It's just me today. Happy New Year. 2020 is here. We're going to start the year off with a solo episode because I love y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Riffin with Griffin. And so I just wanted to recap 2019 to talk about events that's been happening this week and a bunch of stuff. But here we go. Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I hope you still like the woo-woos because we're still going to do it up into 2020 woo-woos. So anyways, guys, I just want to thank everybody for listening to Riffin with Griffin in 2019. I appreciate the growth. I've had a really great time doing this, making the content. Look, I got my new Malcolm X glasses on, so if you're listening to it, you're going to have to watch YouTube. But anyways, I really appreciate everything that has happened, like just the growth and, you know, all the messages and all the stuff I've gotten. Look, I want to thank people that have contributed to the show. So I want to thank the Hangover Candle Company for the candles. I'm still burning them. They're great. I want to thank, I wish I had all these people's names, but you know, the people that made the art and all that stuff that they send, I love it. You know, I love all my guests, you know. Like I got this from Rick Glassman. I really enjoy doing Rick Glassman's podcast, Take Your Shoes Off. So he gave me this, Mr. Potato Head cup, which is, I don't know if it's actually a good gift, but it's actually funny. My SpaceX hat from Dylan Dickstein, I just heard from him. He's about to join a Mars program, exactly what he said he wanted to do. So yeah, I think he's going to be living out in the desert and he's going to be like in sort of Mars conditions, you know, to prepare himself. So he's actually doing that. My buddy, Ben, who I talk about on the podcast a lot, make sure you check out his podcast, My Podcast with Ben. I have his little sticker right here. He's trugging along, so help him out by listening to him. But anyways, and I also want to thank, I always say I don't have any help. I'm looking for a nerd. But you know what? Secretly behind the scenes, I do have a nerd. I got one nerd that helps me out all the time. He makes my little Instagram clips and he anything I ask him to do, he does. And his name is Dominic Joseph. He's actually on Instagram. So shout out to Dominic for all the help that he's done. And of course, the theme songs. I want to thank Dopapod and Octave Cat and Detective Designs for Eli Winderman and those guys for all the great music that they sent and my main theme song. So I want to thank you for that. And let's make 2020 the best. I thought I finished, put this down. Actually, we do it like this. I thought I finished off 2019 pretty strong. I had Anthony Jeselnik, Chris D'Elia, and Red Band on the podcast, and I thought those were great finish there. So I got a bunch of great guests lined up for 2020, but I'm gonna try to do some more solo episodes too, because I love having guests, but I kind of like just talking shit. Just talking about what I think is going on in the world. And there is some crazy shit going on this week. I wanted to talk about a couple things in particular. So today's episode, oh, by the way, too, and then please look at my calendar, ericgriffin.com, because I got a bunch of 2020 dates coming up if you want to see me live. Usually at the front end of the podcast on YouTube, I usually have like a little thing that shows where I'm going to be. But just for you people that are just listening, hey, if you want to see me live, go to ericgriffin.com, and I'm updating my website constantly. So to have the dates of where I'm going to be and the ticket links and all that stuff. So please check that out. Come see me live. I love performing stand-up comedy. I love doing this. So come on, check it out. But today's episode, I just want to talk about a few things. A couple of current events that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about the streaming wars that's happening right now. The streaming wars, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Apple TV. I want to talk about that. and a couple of reviews in there in the shows that I've been watching. And I'm going to finish off with a light Star Wars review because I think I'm having some, I think both the Lee brothers are going to come on different times. And of course, I know we're going to talk Star Wars and stuff like that. But, again, I'm out here doing it. So I hope you enjoy it. But crazy shit is going on right now in the world, I feel like the Pope. I think the Pope has lost his mind. Or he just doesn't want to be the Pope anymore. Like, this dude is out here slapping people. So this woman, so the Pope's walking by, shaking hands with, the fans, the Catholic fans, or whoever, I guess the Pope, would you call them fans or followers? I don't know. It's like a fence where you can actually touch him, Like, it's crazy because I remember I went to Catholic school when I was a kid, really small. And I remember being outside at like a sort of parade thing. And the Pope drove by real fast in a bulletproof thing, And it was you were oh man, there's the Pope. But now this Pope is just out here, kissing babies and shaking hands with people. So he walks by this woman and she holds his hand, grabs him sort of, and pulls him towards her. And he freaks out. He's he's mad. Not even freaks out. The motherfucker's mad, okay? If you see the video, the Pope is mad. He he slaps her hand bitch. Don't you grab me. And then he walks away from her like a real crotchety old man. Now, I'm on both sides of this, okay? All right, let's start with the woman. So this is the Pope. If you're Catholic, it's the Pope, and then above the Pope is basically angels, Virgin Mary, Jesus, whatever you believe in. The Pope is supposed to be the last stop. So I totally get that this is the Pope, and you want to shake his hand, and you want to do more. You God, it's the Pope. It would be like if you at a Star Wars convention. You at a Star Wars convention and George Lucas is walking by shaking hands. You kind of want to be I get the idea of grabbing his hand and being yo, explain Jar Jar Binks, bitch, or whatever. Whatever you would say to George Lucas, but it would be that would be amazing if you're a huge Star Wars follower. Here's George Lucas, the godfather of this whole thing. You would want to shake his hand, and you would want to do more than just shake his hand. You're just in awe of that moment. So I totally get that. You know what I mean? Or Mark Hamill walks by. You know what I mean? You want to be oh my God, Luke, I am your father. You would just all the crazy shit that you would want to do. This is the Pope. So I get this woman was overzealous, but damn, Pope. You gotta beat the bitch down. He literally slapped her hand stop it, and he's been doing this a lot actually. Cause there's another video of him taking confessions. No, he wasn't taking, I'm sorry. It was like an after mass type of thing. And people are walking up, shaking his hand. And so many people wanted to kiss his hand. And he visibly is pulling his hand away nope, nope. And then everybody's kind of oh, almost got you. Everybody's got that almost kissed the Pope, which again, I totally get if you believe in what you believe in. You think this is the end all be all, but he's really not. I don't think he's handling it very diplomatically or as the leader of the church. He's certainly coming across man, I'm tired of this. He wants to retire. Get me the hell out of here. I mean, it's if you see the videos, it's really funny. I mean, I may or may not have the videos on here. I'm not Rick Glassman, so I don't do a lot of edits. Maybe I should. I don't know, but it's hard. But if they are, they're gonna be right there. But it's just, I just think at what point is he gonna just slap somebody across the face don't touch me? Enough is enough, Or my thing is just don't have the meet and greets, If you don't want to you don't want to touch people, you're the freaking Pope, man. You laying hands on people and people feel they feel blessed. It would change their lives. If you're a staunch Catholic Christian and you are 100% invested in what you think the Pope is, and you get to shake the Pope's hand, damn, he don't understand that that's overwhelming for people. I mean, this guy's forgotten his position. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. So please go down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. But I think the Pope is on his way out. He might just be you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. All right, that's the Pope. Let's go to the singing mic for the Pope. The Pope don't want to touch nobody. So my other story that I saw that really like tickled my fancy was Gabrielle Union, the actress, married to Dwayne Wade, the basketball star. Gabrielle Union was in an Uber. The Uber drops her off at her place, and the Uber driver's like, yo, I got to go to the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom? And then he takes a shit. I don't know if it was a guy or girl, whoever it is. He got a shit. And then she goes on the internet and shit shames him. You can't be shit shaming people. Look, I can't stand this. Like people that have bathroom restrictions that they're like, yo, if I say, can I use your bathroom? And they're like, yeah, but just pee. Like, fuck you. There's only two things you do in there. Well, for the most, like 98% is you pee or you shit and you doing them at the same time. And you might, if you're sick or feminine stuff, whatever's going on in there. But like, I can't do what you're supposed to do in this room. Like, this is what the room's designed for. Like, what else are you doing in there? Is this like her bathroom and arts and crafts? Is it like a Chinese food laundromat situation? Like, that's what you do in the bathroom. You freaking shit. So it's like light a candle, turn on the air, and stop like acting like how it's ridiculous that people find it outrageous that somebody used the bathroom. Like, like you tripping on somebody using the bathroom. I think that's shameful right there. I think that really is shameful. I mean, I get the other side too. Nobody wants to smell somebody else's shit. It's not like you left the door open. You know what I mean? Like if that'd be different. Like if the story was, yo, this Uber driver comes in, takes a shit, leaves the bathroom door open, and then walks out. I can't stand that. Man, one time I was at this, long time ago, I was at this lesbian party. It was a lesbian party because it was a lesbian couple and they had all their lesbian friends there and a few of their whatever friends. I was one of the friends. And I remember there was this girl who I don't know, she was like one of those, like, she very masculine lesbian chick. And like, it was a small place where there was like a bathroom and then it opened up and then the living room was right there. I mean, this chick straight up went in there, took a shit, and then stormed out of the bathroom with the door wide open like nothing. Like, yeah, like she was like wafting, like relishing, and then like, look how masculine I am. Smell that shit, fools, at this party. And it was just like, ugh. I'll never forget that. I think that's a funny thing that you can remember the worst shits you smelled of someone else. It's like a very scarring situation. Because I remember too, but I remember I was working at this school, and it was like there was this nun, rest her soul, because she died, but she would go into, like, there was a bathroom in the hallway of the office. I worked in the office, and then she would straight go take a shit all the time, and just like nothing, like the door would be open. And what do you do when a nun takes a shit? You know what I mean? Like, what do you say? You want to be like, yo, can you close the door? Like, it's such a awkward, like, weird situation when somebody goes to the bathroom and they don't do their part. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a candle in there, it's clearly you're supposed to light this, or there's some spray, clearly spray, even though the spray don't really help. But like, there's got to be some shit etiquette. Okay, there's got to be shit etiquette, societal shit etiquette, that when you go into the bathroom, do these things. Like, you don't storm out the bathroom. You know what I mean? You kind of like, you inch out, you open the door a little bit, you inch out, you close it, and then you make an announcement. That's going to take a minute. Or whatever your thing is. But there's got to be some shit etiquette, and I think we need to follow those rules. Well, let's make the rules. I think that's the rule. One rule, if you're not at your place and you take a shit, you got a courtesy flush right away. That's rule number one. As soon as it hits the water, sploosh, sploosh, flush, so they can cut down on any lingering odors. So that's the first thing right there. All right, so let's do that. If there's a candle, like I said, candle in there, light it. Spray. Make sure the air thing is on. When you leave the door, when you leaving, You don't open the door super wide. You open it enough that you can inch out, close it quick. Boom. Shit etiquette rules. If you have some other ones, please tell me. But I don't know. I don't want to talk the whole podcast about shitting. All right, let's get to the thing that I really wanted to talk about. And this is the frickin' streaming wars. Oh, singing Mike. Streaming wars. Stream wars. So, as you know, all of these new streaming services have started. Personally, let me tell you my personal entertainment situation. I still have cable. I still get Spectrum cable because I like live sports and all that. And I know there's ways to watch it other ways, but I like having the cable. I like having that option. You know, even though I'm not maximizing it. I'm not using it to its fullest because of all the other things that I have. But just straight off the bat, I pay too much money for entertainment. I have cable, I have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Disney Plus, Apple TV. I have all of those. So, and then even within, and I have Hulu. Did I say Hulu? Yes, I said Hulu. So I have all of those, right? So the stream wars have started, and they're pulling things, you know. And I want to assess who I think the winners and losers are in the stream wars. So to me, first of all, the winner, to me, still the champion is still Netflix. Netflix is still the best. And I think they were ramping themselves up to prepare for this because you're never lacking something to watch on Netflix. When you turn that shit on, it's like, oh, there's a new show. You're like, oh, shit, I didn't even know this person was in a show or whatever. There's always a new show to watch. There's always new movies to watch. There's always documentaries. There's always old things that you love. It's always something to watch on Netflix. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. So even if they're dumb, you know what I mean? Like Netflix, Netflix I think is a winner. But let's go back now. I think the loser right now in last place is Apple TV. I think Apple TV is like, first of all, I don't like the interface of Apple TV. It's hard to determine, like, it's not like a regular streaming service where like everything you see on the screen, you know, when you're looking at your Apple TV or you're online or you're on your phone or on the iPad, they're showing you, it's like an app that integrates all of these other services. So like, let's say there's a show, like whatever show you want to watch, it'll say on the thing, oh, watch this on Hulu, or this is on whatever, like it's hooked up to my Spectrum. So like all of the apps, all of the TV things are there. So like, oh, this show's on the CW. So you would go boom, and it says, how do you watch it? And you could pick. So it's hard to determine what are the Apple TV shows compared to what are the, the regular shows on the other streaming services. So I don't really like the interface. I wish it just said like, here's the Apple TV shows and they were easy to find. But they're just not. They're really not easy to find. And there's only like a couple of shows on Apple TV. There's that one that like is too woke for me with Jennifer Aniston and whatever. I don't know what the name of it is, but apparently no one is watching this show. But the critics are trying to jam this bullshit down our throat. You know, anytime there's something that's like, oh, you have to watch this. This is the best show. It's like no one's watching it. There has to be some sort of balance between being woke and being entertaining. And that's a hard thing to balance. And the same thing happens in comedy in my business. I'm telling you, like sometimes you want to be like super woke and you want to be like, oh, I want to be cutting edge. I want to say something meaningful, but that's not always entertaining. And I think some of these shows that come out there, they're skirting that line too. That's why I like silly shit. But anyway, I don't know if people are watching that show and they spent so much money on these shows. Like Apple TV has two shows that I watch. I watch C, and that's the one with Jason Momoa. So this show is like some futuristic, like it's 500 years in the future. It's post-apocalyptic. Like there was some disease that decimated the human race. Everybody's blind. So that's the thing, though. Everybody on the show's blind, but there's like one guy who could see, and then he's like impregnating everybody. And then it's just like this kind of like, kind of Lord of the Flies type of environment, like I say, post-apocalyptic, and it's just this adventure. I actually enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful show. I mean, it's shot in like the jungle, because there's in 500 years from now, like if you don't keep up all the cities and stuff, the trees and everything are going to find a way to live, and they're going to bust through all the concrete, and boom, here we are in a jungle again. So the Earth goes on, right? So that's basically what the show's about. It's a weird show. I gotta be honest, it's weird. Jason Momoa's great, but he's blind and he's a warrior, and he can, it's so bizarre. Like, it's such a bizarre show, because your whole time you're thinking to yourself, God, how did they do this being blind? Like, what would I do if I was blind living in the jungle? Like, just little things were getting to me, like, well, what do they do? Like, what are their shit rules? You know what I mean? Like, how do they know where the bathroom is? It's just, it makes your whole brain, your brain actually kind of glitches, because you're just like, fuck, I just got to suspend my disbelief with this show. And it can be hard, or you just let yourself go and go, wow, this is silly fun, because there's fighting and war and sex and, beautiful people in the show. So, and I think they spent a ton of money on that show. The other show on Apple TV that I watch is this show Servant. It's an M. Night Shyamalan show. This is the creepiest, weirdest show I've seen in a long time. I don't know what the fuck it's about. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know if there's supernatural element to it yet. I don't know if there's like, if it's just a psychological thriller, or if there's I don't know yet, but basically, like, it starts with a couple and they have a baby, and you think it's a baby, but it turns out it's a doll that this mom, who's like had a psychotic break, she thinks this doll is a real baby. Then they get a nanny who comes to take care of the baby, right? But this nanny is weird as hell, and then all of a sudden there's a real baby. And then the husband and the brother-in-law are sort of in on why the mom, why she went crazy. So there's some kind of mysterious death to the real baby. And so now the story goes along, and like all these weird characters are introduced and you can't figure out what's going on. So I don't know if this is going to be one of those M. Night Shyamalan at the end of the series where you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened, or I just don't know. But I will say it's very entertaining to watch. But it's also artsy as fuck. Like, a lot of the camera angles, and like that is a set piece. A lot of the cinematography and like the choices that they make in like how they shoot scenes, I think is like a character also in the show. So I would recommend, if you like, sort of scary psychological thriller type stuff, I would recommend this if you have Apple TV. But again, those are the only two that I actually were interested in, and the rest of it is kind of like how you watch Netflix and you look at all the options and you just kind of scroll past. So those are the only two that I really watch, and I don't know if this is enough entertainment to justify the cost. Now, I think Apple TV is the cheapest. I believe you could get it for like $4.99 for a year. So hopefully they're going to be adding more stuff, but I don't see it really lasting, because I'm sure they're losing millions of dollars, because these productions are expensive. So I think Apple TV is in last place. Second to last, I hate to say it, but it's Disney Plus. I think Disney Plus, there was a lot of hype, a lot of fanfare, a lot of like the Disney name is like it's a huge, it's a huge, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Disney, but actually I think Amazon comes in after. I think it's Apple TV then Amazon, but I'm still gonna talk about Disney Plus, because there is an option to Disney Plus that I'm gonna get to that makes it a little better than Amazon. But anyway, Disney Plus just by itself, Disney Plus just by itself, I think is in fourth place, probably tied with Amazon. But like, because Disney Plus, like, okay, so one, you were excited about all these shows they keep talking about. So maybe when they come out, it's going to be great. But the only show on Disney Plus worth watching is Mandalorian. That's the one that everybody talks about, everybody's watching, if you're a Star Wars fan, that is. But let's say you're not even a Star Wars fan, you're just watching Disney movies. All that stuff's great. Like having all the old movies from the archive, there, and some of the old cartoons, like just the Marvel part of it, all the X-Men cartoons, Spider-Man cartoons, and then the Disney part, you can watch like, Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and all those great, that even go back, even the old ones are there. But but it's not, to me, it's not enough new content to make you go, oh, this is great. Again, Mandalorian was the only show, and Mandalorian I really enjoyed, but it was so slow. It's a slow show, but I really it was gripping. I enjoyed it. I thought that just having a guy with a mask on, and I've never cared for people that much that you really didn't know who they were. So it was great. And I like that they used a doll instead of like CGI. I talked about this on the podcast with someone else too, because it was like, it just gave it like a nostalgic feel to it, right? But that's the only show. Mandalorian's over now. Where the fuck are all the other shows? Where's the Hawkeye show, all the Marvel stuff? And then what's happening with Disney Plus, what I'm finding out now is like they're taking movies off of it without even telling us. Like we don't even know what happened to those movies. Like, excuse me, Home Alone and a bunch of those movies are just like off, and then I noticed like Avengers, like they have the first Avengers, then they have Avengers Age of Ultron, but Infinity Wars is missing. It's not on Disney Plus. And of course they have Endgame, which is became the biggest movie of all time. But like, if you're just you're trying to catch up, you're just trying to be like, oh, let me do a little marathon. There's no Infinity Wars. So I'm like, why is that? And they don't explain. Like Netflix will be like, they'll send you a little message like, here's 10 movies that are coming and here's 10 that are being taken off. So you know what's going on. Disney's all, excuse me, let me get some water. Disney's all hush hush. So I don't know what's going on with that. I hope they explain that. I wish they would, I really want to know why that is. So that's that part of it. And again, like I say, they just got this one show, and then they got National Geographic's cool. They got this great show, this great docu-series called Hostile Planet. It's really fascinating and so beautifully shot. I just, you see animals in their environment. It's like a hostile environment, and how the animals have to like hunt other animals, and they get this fantastic footage. They got this one where this jaguar like is in the water, and it freaking takes down an alligator and pulls the alligator out of the water. And it's like one of these things that, imagine if you were like the crew and you were like, oh my God, I can't believe we're capturing this. So that stuff's good. But again, I don't think there's enough with Disney Plus. Now, the only thing that makes Disney Plus like a step ahead of, say, Amazon, because I love Amazon too. And the thing about Amazon, let's talk about Amazon real quick. Amazon's simple. Like, they got a bunch of shows, Jack Ryan, they got, Fleabag, they got, of course, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and they got a bunch of little things like that. But what makes Amazon great is like, you get it with Amazon Prime. So it's like extra. It's not like it's just that. You know what I mean? Like Disney Plus should give you other shit. Like it's like if you have Disney Plus, you also get to go to Disneyland for free. Then you're like, oh, okay, well then it doesn't matter. Let me just have this, or they give you some other service. But with Amazon, you get, of course, the delivery, you get all that stuff. So having it doesn't hurt you. You know what I mean? So they don't need to like spend so much money on all these ridiculous productions. They can pick and choose what they want, and that's what they do. So in terms of entertainment value, I don't think Amazon is that good. You know what I mean? But it's still better than Apple TV, I think, right? Okay, so Disney, what makes Disney Plus great is the fact that you have also Hulu. Like, if you don't have Hulu and Disney Plus together, also it packages with the ESPN Plus, it doesn't make any sense. Like, just having Disney Plus by itself don't make any sense to me. It literally costs you maybe $1 more to have Hulu and Disney together. Now you combine Hulu with that. Now you talking about something that's real, because Hulu's great. Like Hulu, I don't even watch if my favorite shows are on Hulu, I don't even watch them on cable on my Spectrum app or DVR, because you get commercial free on Hulu. So you could pay a little extra for commercial free on Hulu. So I'm watching all my shows on Hulu. But they don't have all the networks. I think they don't have CBS shows on Hulu. I don't know. I think it depends on the studio attached or whatever. But like Hulu's great. So if you're talking about Hulu and Disney Plus as one thing, plus ESPN Plus, that makes the whole streaming service worth it, and it's actually the same amount of money. Like you get all of them combined, so that kind of makes it like better, But like if you're looking at these things individually, it's not that good. But if you bundle it together, I highly recommend you doing that. It's totally worth bundling. So I would bundle it together, and then you get all that. And then it kind of makes it like on par with Netflix, sort of. But because Hulu's coming out with a bunch of movies, Hulu's actually going to be like the rated R Disney branch, So if you want to see like some nasty stuff, you would watch Hulu. As opposed to Disney Plus. So there's that. And then some of the shows on Hulu, I still like Handmaid's Tale. That show is ill as fuck. Even though I think it's kind of gone off the rails, and because it's not now, it's just the writers coming up with stuff. And after a while, you're just kind of like, God, can something fun happen to these people? Like, does it have to be so grim and dark? It's a really dark show. I don't know if it's the kind of show that should have continued. I think it's the kind of thing like, hey, this is what could happen in the world. These are how some people think, and then you end it. To keep it going is kind of like, I don't know what's going on with that. But there are some good stuff on Hulu. Oh, and back to Amazon. Amazon had that great show, Boys, the superhero show. That was really good. So, like I say, there's good stuff on each of these. You just have to justify why you would pay the money. And like I say, Amazon's worth it because of all the other stuff you get, Amazon Prime and all that stuff. Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, that makes it worth it. But to me, the king is still going to be Netflix. It just is. Even though with Netflix, some of these shows that they put out, I just watched Lost in Space, the remake of the series, the sort of like modern day version of it. And season 1 I thought was cool. I liked season 1, but this season 2, like they skip shit. Like the end of an episode, the kid is on a ship, like sort of like on this planet where he just saved this robot and he's by himself. And then the start of the next episode, he's rescued. Like you don't even know how he was rescued or what happened. So I don't know. I feel like the money runs out on Netflix shows. I feel like they start big, they start with a bang, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, what happened with this show? Why is it so, why are you skipping steps in the show? So Lost in Space was good. And then I enjoyed The Witcher. Oh, with Harry Cavill, the guy that was Superman. The Witcher is based off a book, and then it's what do you call it? They made it into a video game. But this is a really fantastic show. I love it. It's so bad that it's great. It's good and bad at the same time. It's just some sort of like Dungeons and Dragons type of. He's a hitman witch. He's got powers, and he's like he's a monster hunter, and it's just a world of like sorcery and magicians and like a magic school that people go to, and then they get assigned to like different kings. And I don't know. It's a fun show to watch because what I like about Netflix, what I like about online streaming is they ain't worried about your soft stomach. If they need to show somebody's head getting cut off, their head gonna get cut off. So I like that sort of violence, and there's like, it's sex and violence and magic. So if you're a nerd, you're getting everything you desire. So I think The Witcher is a good show. But again, like I say, I think Netflix is king. They got great documentaries. Like I just saw that documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. I mean, damn, that shit was creepy. You got to watch it. It's just one of those shows. Like if you're an animal person, you're going to be so disturbed. I've heard a lot of animal people who won't watch it because they think that they show these cats getting killed, and they really don't. They kind of like let you know that it's happening, but they don't actually show it. So and as a person that's like, I'm an animal guy, but I don't, not like that. I mean, I was like, oh man, are they going to show this? So I'm watching. It's just a bizarre documentary. But again, Netflix has got a bunch of that stuff. There's a bunch of great documentaries on Netflix. A bunch of great shows. They got the Manhunter show, which it's it's hard to know where you stand. This is what I'm saying about being woke. So there's a segment of society that is like, why are we glorifying serial killers? So if you are in that camp, you're not going to like this show. I don't think, to me, I know the nuance and I can intellectualize that this is just entertainment and it's just a show letting you know, like, oh, this happened, and let's we're gonna fictionalize some things, but we're gonna show you some stuff that happened. So you're kind of like, all right, I enjoyed it, but then when you hear people talk about it, you're kind of like, all right, now I can't enjoy this because of what you're saying. And then you know how Hollywood works. If they make one show about serial killers, there's gonna be 10 other shows about serial killers. But I thought the one with what's his name, Zac Efron, I thought he was great as what's the one that everybody always talks shit about? I just thought he was great as that serial killer. Not Jeffrey Dahmer, but one of those, the cute one. Who cares? You guys, I'm sure the chat right now, if I'm doing a live chat of this, are being like, this guy, that's how much I don't really care about it. Then they had that one series, Unbelievable. This one was about the girl who said someone raped her, and then no one believed her, and then later they realized she was telling the truth. It was really it was a really emotional. That was emotional. Takes you on an emotional ride of like, what would you do in that situation if you were those cops? Like, would you believe her or not? I mean, it's like it was really a well put together show. So they, like I said, but that's Netflix. I think that's why Netflix is king of the streaming services right now, because they got everything you need. You know what I mean? Like I said, documentaries, all this kind of stuff. They got everything you need. So I don't know. I just think that's I think that's the order. So I think Netflix is number one, right? I think what would be, I don't know. Is Netflix? Yeah, Netflix is number one. I think there's only a lot of them, right? Netflix is number one. Then I really think that it would be, I guess number two would be like Hulu, if you bundle it. Number two would be Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, right? Then Amazon, then Apple TV. So I think Netflix is still winning the streaming wars. Now I hear HBO Max is going to come out, which if you have HBO Go, are you not going to have HBO Max? I don't know what the fuck that means. But this is supposedly going to have like a bunch of different stuff too, like TV shows and stuff. I hear they took Friends off all the platforms and they're waiting for it to be on HBO Max. I also think that on HBO Max, The Big Bang Theory is only going to stream on HBO Max. So I don't know I don't get what HBO's doing, but because they already got HBO Go. They were their originals. People are already paying for that. So why are you going to pay for like some other service? So I don't know what the deal is with HBO Max, but hopefully that's, it's another service we're going to have to pay for, right? But then here's what I think is going to end up happening too. I think a company like Amazon is they're going to be like, are you tired of paying for all the streaming services separately? We've bundled them all. Here, pay this amount. And you know what that's going to be? Fucking cable. That's what cable was. So it's good. We're going to end up going full circle, being back to like where you have a bundle of like, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. Because to me, they're all networks at this point now. Netflix started as like a blockbuster, and they turned into a freaking full-on entertainment company. So, they're no different than HBO, Showtime, or anything like that. So, I don't know. Then I don't even count those like Showtime, Anytime. They would really be in last place. Like, no one I know is paying for Showtime, Anytime. Like, if you're not getting Showtime as some kind of bundle, why would you get it? Then they're charging this is the reason why I'm Dying Up Here was canceled. I don't just not enough people have access to Showtime. So I don't know. But again, that's the worst in the streaming wars. Then, there's other ones too, like Epics. And if you think about all those stations that you have to like pay extra for, even on cable, it's like, who's paying for that? I I pay for cable and I'm like very limited. I'm really trying to figure out where do I want to pay for it? Like I love HBO. So do I get HBO with, on Hulu actually? Which actually makes, you could get, but Amazon does the same thing. So Amazon, you have the option to buy HBO, Showtime, and those kind of stations. Hulu does the same thing. Hulu has the, different stations, so I want to know, somebody send me a message about like if whoever has Hulu TV, because I noticed that too. You can like get like live TV on Hulu. I haven't tried that. One of my friends is using YouTube TV. So again, those are all different options too. So I don't know. I don't know which one is the better. To me, it just seems like you end up paying the same amount of money you were paying for cable. Like people are like, oh, I'm going to get rid of cable because it's too expensive. But then they paying $50 for their internet, $15 for HBO, $15 for this one, $15 for that one. When it's all said and done. And then if you get like the $50 for like the YouTube TV or Hulu TV, you're talking about, you're spending like cable money. You're spending cable money for freaking the same thing anyway. So shit, I don't know. All right, I saw Star Wars, the most recent Star Wars, and like I said, I'm probably gonna have both Lee brothers on. I don't know if we're gonna have them on together, but I'm gonna have one of them on. Both of them are gonna come on. It's hard to wrangle these guys. So in the meantime, I thought I'd talk about it myself. I don't know if you're not a Star Wars person, then I guess you could check out now. But like, I actually enjoyed this most recent Star Wars. What's it called? Something Skywalker. I don't know what the name. What is the name of this one? Let me look this shit up. Recent Star Wars movies. Oh yeah, the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. I didn't hate it. Actually, I didn't hate it like I hated The Last Jedi. That one was terrible. But this one, it was okay. I thought the special effects were great, but I feel like they're making shit up as they go. Like one of the things I just do not like, and I don't want to talk about this too. Well, fuck it. It doesn't matter if I talk about it again another time. Who cares, right? But like, they just making up Jedi powers. Like we've been in this Star Wars universe for 40 years, right? And all of a sudden now, Jedis can like teleport shit, Like I wish they would have. It's like you can't just add a new power out of nowhere. So I don't know, but I feel like they're just trying to make sense of everything. But like in The Last Jedi, so in The Last Jedi, remember Luke is like transmitting himself with the Force. He's still on the island, but he's making people believe he's there. So he has a necklace that he gives to Leia. That he's like, oh, that's our necklace. It's some kind of family heirloom. But when he vanishes, the necklace vanishes. But in Rise of Skywalker, apparently he could have just brought that necklace and gave it to her through the Jedi power. Why didn't he do that? I don't understand. And then it's like, again, even though I don't agree with the premise that she's now, spoiler alert, everybody, spoiler alert, that Emperor Palpatine, the Emperor, is actually her grandfather. Because I think they were trying to parallel the original movie, like, how Darth Vader was Luke's father. Now this is, I didn't agree with that freaking storyline, that premise of that storyline, but I like how it was executed in the movie. I thought that it was, again, I thought it was a nicely shot movie. It was beautiful. The special effects were great. The story was, I gave it like a B+, I didn't hate it. And honestly, I even like teared up a couple times when I was watching at the end. I thought, I was like, why am I crying in this fucking Star Wars movie? But like, there was a couple of like really like good moments in the movie. So, and I was in Washington D.C. and my cousin Alyssa was with she didn't want to go see it, but I took her, and afterwards she was like, it was dope. It was dope. That's how my cousin is. So she enjoyed it, and she didn't even know any other movies. So I mean, as a standalone movie, I thought it was like, it was interesting. Like again, the special effects and stuff, but I just, in terms of like in the Star Wars universe, I just feel like these are like as if they're like remakes of the Star Wars universe. I didn't like that all of a sudden Leia is like all of a sudden this Jedi master. Like, when the fuck did that happen? So they sort of made reference to it like, oh, she was training when she was younger, but then they didn't make reference to it in any of the other movies. So it was kind of like, well, what happened here? So I feel like the people were like, they sat down and they were like, yo, I think we ruined this whole franchise. Let's see if we can get it back on track. But I don't know if they did or not. I think the other movies were so bad that this one just being a little bit better made it worth it and good. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. You know, it's like, I don't know. I can't figure out what my favorite. I know that none of these new Star Wars are even close to being my favorite movie of the Star Wars series. It's always going to go back to the originals. You know, young people, they look at those and they're like, "Ugh, those are so old. They look terrible." But whatever. I just think those were just better stories. I thought the interactions with the actors were better. I thought I don't know. I just feel like Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi are still the gold standard for the Star Wars universe. And these movies are just like, okay, you know. I thought those three that came, the original, not the original three, but the next three that George Lucas did, those were all terrible with the young Anakin and, you know, Hayden Christensen, and those movies were not very good. Okay, they just weren't very good. So you're kind of like, ugh, on the Star Wars universe after that. And then they just kept going with these three. They're just like, what's going on here? But the casino one was terrible, and then the one after that, I don't know. I don't understand Rey's story. So they tried to put it together. You know, they tried to like, oh, here's what it is. You know, Palpatine's son obviously had her, and I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. You know, it just really didn't. And so if I think about in the totality of the whole Star Wars universe, I actually think that the show Mandalorian, I think that show is better than a lot of the movies. I thought Rogue One was good, but like, so I'm looking forward to what's happening in Rogue One. I mean, I'm sorry, in Mandalorian. I want to see where that's going, you know, because apparently they're going to talk about Jedis and all this kind of stuff. Can we go back to Mandalorian? I guess we can, because who do I have to ask? I'm fucking running the show. This is my thing. I feel like this is my ramble on podcast, but I don't care. I love doing solo episodes. So the thing about Mandalorian is I love Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda's 50 years old, okay? So like, remember original Yoda is like 800 years old. So Baby Yoda's 50 years old, and this is supposedly 4 years after Return of the Jedi, I think. I can't figure out where Mandalorian is in the timeline. I'm not sure if like the people that made Mandalorian are trying to wipe out all of the Rey stuff, you know? Maybe that's later. I can't figure out where they are in the universe. I need somebody to help explain that to me. But if Baby Yoda's 50 years old, that means he was alive. That little baby, if it's a girl, I don't even know if it's a girl or a guy, it was alive through all of Star Wars and all that stuff. So maybe whoever's supposed to, bring balance to the Force, maybe it was never the Skywalkers. Maybe it was this Baby Yoda is actually the one that's going to balance the Force. Who knows? Or is this like a race of beings that all have tremendous Jedi power? You know what I mean? I mean, just think about how Luke in the original series, how long it took him to like get his powers in order. Like he had to be upside down. You know what I mean? But then again, this fucking Baby Yoda's 50 years old. So we didn't even see when he was only like, 25. Maybe he couldn't do the Yoda powers that he has now. I mean, 50 is like you've lived a long time. And so maybe you've time to develop your powers, but he's still a baby at the same time. He's still like, he don't talk, he acts like a baby. You know what I mean? Like Baby Yoda reminds me of Stewie from Family Guy. Like around certain people, it's a baby, but then other times it can make like, a time machine. You know what I mean? So I would love to see a battle between Stewie and Baby Yoda. So I don't know. I just think like I want to see where the Mandalorian goes. I think that's I really like what they're starting with that. But again, hey, Disney Plus, like only 8 episodes, and then you don't have anything else following up, And speaking of what I like about Mandalorian, and we can thank the MCU, the Marvel Universe, for this. It's because of Marvel that even Disney's figured out, oh, let's not leave the universe. Let's just make movies within the universe. They're just making terrible movies. Like Solo, no one even talks about that one anymore. Like that's Solo movie. That, with I forgot the guy's name. The guy that looks older than Han Solo did. He's supposed to be young Han Solo, but he looked older than Han Solo looked in the original Star Wars. I don't know. I just, so if you're not going to make great movies, these branch off movies, if they're not going to be great, you're gonna turn us off, man. This is why DC is failing. Like the DC universe is so terrible. It's like no one cares. They can't keep a Batman. Now they lost Superman. So in our minds, we're kind of like, okay, well, what's going on? I can't connect the way I was able to connect with Marvel, even if the movies were bad. Like Captain America, the original one, terrible. First Thor, terrible. Second Thor, terrible. Like some of these movies were just not good. The Hulk was terrible. That's the one character they switched. They didn't keep Ed Norton. They got, what's his name? So, but like, some of these movies just were not good, but the universe was connected. So we were like, all right, let's see where this is going to go. DC, they just can't get their shit right, man. They can't. I'm interested. I'm looking forward to seeing this Wonder Woman 1984 Wonder Woman. But, even that one, I don't know, like, how's that guy alive? Like, I saw Wonder Woman. He went in a plane. The fucking plane exploded. How is he alive? Please explain to me how he's alive. Like, I'm already out because I saw that. Chris Pine's character. I was like, how's he alive? Well, explain this to me. So, I don't know. We'll see how that one comes about. But so anyways, to bring it back, is like, the Marvel people, they did that right. So Star Wars is trying to do it like that. But I don't know, like, where are they going to go next? Is this the end of, they said it was the end of Skywalker, but then at the end of the movie, when the guy's like, what's your name? And she's all, I'm Rey Skywalker. It's like, bitch, no, you're not. You Palpatine. Just be who you are. Why? I don't get that. When she kissed, what's his name? The bad guy who went good, all of a sudden, I wish I was like, ooh, now that'd be their baby would be like super powerful. Skywalker, Palpatine together, like, damn. But he disappears, so he's gone. You know what I mean? Like he vanishes in the Force, in the dark side, I don't know. Sometimes I don't get the Force, the dark side, light side. I don't get that. Like, why would you choose the dark side and then call it the dark side? You know what I mean? It's like if you said, "Hey, join the evil side." You wouldn't say it like that, because how would you justify in your head that you're on the wrong side? You're saying you're evil. It shouldn't be dark side. I never liked that. It shouldn't have been like, the light and the dark, because dark implies something bad, but they don't believe that they're bad, right? I mean, do they think they're bad, or don't they think that they're justified in how they act? So I don't. Look, now we're going down a psychological, discussion about, is the dark side good or bad, or whatever that is. That'll be for, I guess, another episode. I don't know, but. Guys, I want to thank you for listening to me ramble on, Riffin with Griffin. To recap, again, Pope, crazy, think he's on his way out. Gabrielle Union, stop shit-shaming people. The streaming wars. I think Netflix is still king. That's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, please write in the comments what you think. But I don't think that these other ones can compare. They can't compete with Netflix. Even though I just read a story that they thought Apple was going to buy Netflix. Isn't that crazy that Apple got that kind of money? It was something like $189 billion to buy Netflix. I was like, damn, that's... Who owns Netflix? Did anybody know? Is there like a sole owner of Netflix, or is this some sort of conglomerate of like shareholders? I don't know, but damn, $189 billion for something? Shit. So anyways, the streaming wars, Mandalorian's great. Star Wars movie was like, I give it a B+. You could do worse. You could do worse. And And did I say Gabrielle Union, stop shit shaming? And once again, please please subscribe to Riffin with Griffin. I'm actually I'm really enjoying doing this, so please subscribe. And also, if you want to watch me game, I'm still playing Call of Duty. I have not won a solo victory. I'm playing Blackout, the battle royale. I was playing on this channel for a little while, but then I was told that it's not good to mix like that, so I made a new channel. So if you want to watch me game, please subscribe to that channel. It's youtube.com/Erik Griffin Gaming. Erik Griffin Gaming! So please subscribe to that channel if you want to watch me game, because I have some other gaming videos, and I still haven't won a Call of Duty Blackout. It's the battle royale. It starts with 100 people. You have to find weapons, and then like the map keeps shrinking, and then you have to be the last one standing. The best I've done is 4th place, and I've tried oh my god, I've played 300 matches. But when I get that victory, it's gonna be like, yes, So please, if you want to subscribe to that channel, please subscribe to that channel. And once again, please go to erikgriffin.com. Excuse me. Please go to erikgriffin.com for my show dates. I'm coming all over the place this year. I'm coming to Cleveland. I'm going to this Hamilton. Hamilton is in Canada near Toronto. I'm going to a lot of different places. It'll be on my website. I'm going to update it by the time this comes out. And keep on doing what you do, guys. Keep helping me, push me to make the show better. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next week.